recording. If anyone says anything bad, don't worry. This will never see the light of day. So, you're all good.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna start with we're just gonna go through it, I guess, and we're gonna answer all the questions. If you have a repeat question, then it won't matter because you'll hear my answer now, and then you'll remember it. So, easy does
Optimistic.
it. Question number 1 from Owler here. We have a 5-parter. How would it feel to be the director? I actually don't know what that means. If anyone can explain what that question means, I actually have no idea what that means. How can it feel to be the director? Feels kind of bad, but I think if you're talking the real me, it feels kind of cool, but it's also kind of sad to be villainous, right? But if you feel like if it's in character Wifies, then at this point he's past it. Like in my mind, character Wifies has very little remorse for what he's doing. Like he's fixated. This is like he's realized this is the only thing he can do. So he has to do it. Question number 2, is it perchance Evil Fees that's a director? It's a very common question I see, probably the biggest one. And like, because there's the lore, if you don't know somehow, there's the lore that me, Ken, and Watto have, where there's this character who's evil Wifies who made a bunch of Wifies clones. And there's clone Wifies who escaped that facility and is allegedly the Wifies that we see in Unstable Universe. Even though the official answer that Parrot thinks, and that is the answer, is that these two universes are not related. So the Wifies you see in Unstable Universe has no relation to the ones like in the clone universe. In my head, though, I like to think that the Wifies you see in Unstable Universe is the clone Wifies, and as he becomes more human, by virtue of hanging around Parrot, he embodies more characteristics of his creator, which are the little bit obsessive traits you see in Evil Fees, but I wouldn't say it's ever Evil Fees in Unstable Universe. It's always, if anything, it's the clone, but really it's none of them. Question number 3, why was Wifi's choice on killing all of Parrot's friends? Well, I didn't kill that many of them,
That's
did
fucked
I?
up.
I didn't kill that many of them.
Yeah, I killed
Daraptu's
one of them.
alive. Daraptu's alive.
Alive. I had to step on a bomb though. That wasn't fun.
For now.
I think the reason that all of his friends are dead is just because I saw this really nice theory, and granted I don't fully know what Parrot thinks when he's reading all these scripts. However, I do like the interpretation that I killed Newfully because he stopped being leverage against Leo Wook. So if I was able to threaten Newfully to have leverage on controlling Leo, once Newfully left and Leo let him go, he was useless to me. So he died. Next up, this one's unrelated. Please post all your bloopers from SPK. That will happen. I recorded some bloopers for the director video and the video I'm recording with Parrot now. Spoiler alert. But those two videos will have their own bloopers posted as soon as Parrot posts his next video. So that'll be on the second channel. Bloopers will go out whenever Parrot posts. I don't know when that's going to be. I can't speak for him. But it won't be for at least 2 weeks. I think. I'd be surprised if it was earlier. Is there a chance that Yu Parrot could actually be convinced to Yu Wifi's mindset? From Car. Or Char. I don't know. Probably not. I think Parrot is, as a character, he's so, like, probably polar opposite end of Wifi's, where he has the savior complex, where he would put anyone in front of himself, whereas Wifi's would put Parrot in front of anyone, and those two mindsets are pretty much like fully incompatible. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. I don't think Parrot's gonna be converted to his mindset. Next up, really good question here from Car with a K. Wifi's, was it your idea to be yandere? I don't know how to say that word. It's a shame Daraptu just left because that would have been really useful. Hey guys. We're not going to answer that question. We're going to go to the next question. So, next one. Wifi's, rate this rap I saw in the comments of Parrot's last video. This is bar for bar the Kanye rap. I would have appreciated a little more if we were a little more creative with the lyrics, but Wifies never had a pink polo, guys. Like, let's be a little more inspired next time. But, classic Ludwig. Next up, we're going to skip that. From Abyssal, is a really good question. Is Parfies canon, or at least implied to be canon? Because what was that recent episode? So another phenomenal question from the Discord. This one's the one you see a lot. I think you could make the case that their relationship is very much brotherly, in the sense that Wifies is just extraordinarily protective of what he treats as his, like, best friend or even brother. I don't think there has to be a romantic connotation there, is my interpretation of the story. But everyone can interpret it how you will. Next up, question 2. Why did we kill Newfily? We already said that. Like, we no longer have him as leverage against Leowook. He's useless to me. Question 3. Does Parrot still view Wifies as his friend? Great question. And I'm not going to answer that for spoiler reasons. You're going to find out in the next video. The poor person, the individual asking, what do you guys mean by Parfies? Bro doesn't know. Next
Bro's out of the loop.
Bro's out of the loop.
Bro was born yesterday.
Poor guy.
I'm still Wifies' friend. There's no lore connecting me to anything. For all intents and purposes, I never knew he's gone.
True. Next question from Mocha. Wifies, what's your favorite part of a UU episode you enjoyed playing? Also, why are you yandere now? We're going to skip over that second part, as I already mentioned. Favorite part of an Unstable Universe episode that I enjoyed the most, I think I've said this a lot, but it was mining Civ. Just because Parrot was low-key always off with Luigi, and everyone was really funny. Like, all the Rattrick, Coin Monkey, Finian, they were all super funny to talk to. I just talked with Dean for like 2 hours per session. That was phenomenal, just really fun. Low-key not even in the episode, but that recording was really fun. So definitely my favorite to record. Next up, Happy Pride Month to UU Wifies. That's fact. It is that month. It is June. Happy Pride Month to all. And especially to Unstable Universe Wifies.
Why are people... Never mind. I hate you all.
Next up. What do you know about Parfies? We're just going to go past that question. I think I know all there is to know. I might even know more than you do. Next, this guy has 4 predictions, not any question. Also, if you want to ask questions, then I put them in Ask Wifies. We're going to scroll down to them eventually. But we're going to go first serve basis. This is from Wifies. This is from Wifies, aka Days7305. If UU Wifies could turn back time so he was never the director, would he? Does he regret faking his death even a little? Also, why did he send assassins? Great question. Great 3-parter question. What am I going to say to that? One sec, guys. Pause. I just got alerted in staff chat that the channel is locked. Do we unlock it?
The channel Ask Wifies is locked.
Ask Wifies is locked.
Hi, I'm a mod. Ask Wifies is locked so that we can get through all the past questions first, and then once we hit the bottom, then we'll open up again. If you're up to that.
Yeah, phenomenal idea. Great point. Thank you. That is actually a great idea. Okay, good. That is good. Okay, yeah, so if you want to save questions, we'll get to them. We're just going to get to the people that already asked first. But back to the question. First part, this is the easiest. Why did I send the assassins? The point is, and I think Parrot's already said this or it's been confirmed, but I wanted to know how Parrot thinks. I wanted to test him in every possible scenario against a fighter, against a redstoner, against a whatever, like against his own team, against bounty hunters. What will he do? How will he react? So I can then make the perfect, like, trap for him. Like, I know exactly how he thinks, so I know that, he's stuck. Like, I know how to make him stuck. I know how to trap him. If I could turn back time so I was never the director and just stay with Parrot, would I? Holy new staff in VC. I think so. I think if the circumstances were never prompted, then Wifies would rather not have done all that he did. He would have rather been peaceful 100%. But Given the circumstances, he would never have done anything differently. Maybe he regrets it a little, but he fully believes this is what he has to do. There's no doubt in his mind. Next up, from Evil Fees, aka Devdicated. What did Wifies feel when revealing himself to Parrot? Did he feel scared, confident, or did he just not care? Maybe there was a little bit of nervousness. It's actually interesting because when I first delivered those lines in that scene, I delivered them a lot more like emotionally to Parrot, like I'm so glad I can reveal myself to you now. And then Parrot specifically told me to not do that, and he said deliver it like deadpan. And like deliver it emotionless, as if you're beyond this, like you're just stoic. So I think Wifies is just so immersed in his own plans that he like isn't nervous. Like he's almost robotic in a sense, which is kind of on brand, wouldn't you say? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how scared is Wifies about losing Parrot? I think like it drives all that he does. Objectively, we'd have to be at a 10, right? What would Wifies do if he successfully kills all of Parrot's friends, leaving only him and Parrot in the world? I think he knows it wouldn't come to that because he's using Parrot's friends as leverage. So he's not... Plus, Watto's not going to die. He's using all of Parrot's friends as leverage against Parrot. So he knows that Parrot would, like... He can pretty much always control Parrot so long as he threatens his friends' lives. Because Parrot would never kill his friends to save himself. So... like, he knows it's not going to come to that. But good question. Very interesting hypothetical. However, it's not happening.
That's why I don't become friends with Parrot. I don't want to be put in the line of fire. I'm only friends with
Exactly.
Wifies for now.
Exactly. What will Wifies do with Parrot after killing all of his friends? Again, great question, but it won't happen because Parrot wouldn't let that happen. And because his friends are being used as leverage, Parrot would never do something to make Wifies upset and is causing his friends to die. What made this happen? Pretty vague question. I assume you mean what made the whole thing happen? Parrot got too close to death. Wifies couldn't take it anymore. He did what he had to do. Would Wifies possibly kill impossible to kill characters? Answer is simple. Nobody is impossible for the director to kill. Nobody is outside of my line of fire. Next question. We have from Sigmari. Yes. When Evil Feast talks, he talk more soft spoken. I don't even know if this is related to Unstable Universe, Loki. But I did purposefully make Wifi's Evil Feast tone in the Canadian Watto collab like more reserved, just because that felt like the right air for him to have. So I believe that's correct.
I don't want to butt in too much
go for
about that one, but I do remember when we were talking about that, I think you were like kind of panicking on how are people going to know these are different people. So you had to have like a distinct voice difference from them, well, from you. So I remember that you were like, okay, people are just going to think I'm talking to myself. Obviously you are, but you know. That kind of tone, I think, was birthed out of necessity.
Very true. That I do recall. Next question up from Jam. Did Wifies threaten Squiddo to get leverage over Ash? Great question. And some would say that that is the case, but I can neither confirm nor deny that. Next up, also, is it intentional the only assassin that died was true? I actually don't know. That was Parrot's decision with the writing. And I think, although I do think it'd be accurate to believe that, like, because he might have rebelled and killed Parrot, then, like, he pretty much had to go. Wifies knew everyone else was easily to control. Maybe the hacker guy, he let Parrot kill. Oh, and also part of the question that I missed, how did you actually get leverage over everyone? Oh, that's a great question. Maybe you'll see one day, but I suppose I cannot answer that right now. A lot of emotional and physical, that sounds pretty bad. A lot of manipulation was done on the Unstable Universe server. Wifies has a lot of connections. He pretty much just knows people in high places. Okay, next up. Raise his hand politely. Wow. Gigi ahead of her time. Okay. When you said the line "No, but I'll kill your friends," were you smiling? Yes, yes, because I thought it was low-key. Personally, I thought it was low-key kind of a skibbity line. I was like, dang, like this almost seems a bit too corny, but I think it worked with the music, so I'm glad. Guys, don't get mad at the adjective. Literally, Parrot says that all the time. I got it from him. That's Parrot's most common vocab word. Whenever somebody acts this, I don't know if you know this. Whenever somebody acts poorly in unstable video, Parrot will go like, "That's skibbity acting. Can we do that take again?" Like, it's the equivalent of Mickey Mouse. You ever heard like, "That's a Mickey Mouse line. That's a Mickey Mouse whatever." Like, that's skibbity acting. Okay, next up. Is it true that Parrot doesn't like Parfies? He doesn't like the shipping. I think he's pretty open about that, and I respect why. And it's not even like, when it's the characters, I think he's not that uncomfortable with the characters since it's not him. Obviously, he doesn't like prefer it. But the bigger concern is that people who don't know about it, like fans that just have never, heard about it, log on to Twitter and the first fan art they see is me and Parrot making out. It will like put them off ever so slightly, or there's a chance that it'd be like weird exposure, So that's what he's worried about. Like a 10-year-old kid just sees that as their first impression of Unstable Universe. So that's his concern. So hopefully to clear that up. Next up, do you still call Parrot darling? Is that even a question? Next question. That's so ironic given what I just said. But yeah. Will you Wifies kill more than one person? Again, I can't spoil that. You'll have to find out in the next episode. So, yeah. Question from Liv. If Yu Wifies is the director, who directed him to be one? There's actually some lore that I believe Watto and Ken made up about a certain character called Un. An old man named Un, who has a little pocket universe on his table. And I will say nothing more on the matter. We're going to go to the next. Get it? Because it's like Un's table universe. Un's table. It's a universe on his table.
It's a small table, by the way. It's not a large table.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. That's lore accurate, by the way. Okay, next up.
Write that down.
Next up, maybe do a Q&A episode. What's your favorite food? That's unrelated. We'll get to that, though. I'll answer it personally. Is it possible, this is from Epic, is it possible that Yu Wifies will be trustworthy again? If not, what is he going to feel if Parrot doesn't want anything to do with him? At this point, latter part of the question, Parrot has no choice if he wants to do anything with him. Like, Wifies is at the point where he is going to keep Parrot safe regardless of what Parrot wants. So that's not part of it. Whether or not I'll be trustworthy again, you'll have to find out. I can't spoil that, can I? Great image sent in chat below from Kappa Paka. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. Phenomenal question from Owen, aka Dagger. Do you like Yu Parfies as a ship? So I think I've responded to this question a few times, but I think you all know the stance. I think it's, and to say it again here, I do think it's very amusing, and I enjoy all the reactions. However, Parrot and I are not romantically involved, and I do feel like I'm not trying to perpetuate a false narrative and like lead anyone on. Like, he definitely doesn't think so. I don't think so. I do think it's funny, and I have no issue with it, but when it does hurt the Unstable brand and Parrot feels uncomfortable, then that's one thing. But like, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't pretty amused. So, they're canonically platonic. Next up, literally the exact same question. Whoa, not a question, or more so of a theory. Well, I'll briefly read the theory. If Parrot has to kill Wifies, it's either Parrot has to kill Wifies or Parrot joins Wifies, but you don't think that's going to happen. No, yeah, not particularly a question. However, good theory. No comment. Can't say anything, sorry. Next question. How does Wifies feel about the fact that his death was brought up a lot in front of the director? I actually do think this is a great question from Renji. I think it stung a little bit every time it was brought up, but it got like diminishing returns. So more and more times, like I think at first he just wanted to tell Parrot, but like at that point he was already pretty far gone. Like he knew he couldn't stray from his plans, and by like the fifth time, like he's emotionless. Like he does not react anymore. Great question though. Great question. Next up, when did Ash Swag start working for the director? From a name that I can't really pronounce, Vaui. Hopefully that wasn't terrible. But that's also a great question. When did Ash start working for the director? Technically working for is, I don't think it's the right way to put it. I think Ash pretty much just had to listen to what Wifies had to say for reasons that we kind of touched on. Wifies had leverage over a lot of the powerful people on Unstable, including Clown. And without Clown, who was by far Ash's most powerful mercenary, Ash was pretty much powerless. Like, he couldn't fight back. So he had to do what Wifies said. Next up, what are we saying? This is from Stars, aka Scout, aka Poem. Was Director Fan a clone Fees? He could have been. Some may say
I was
Director Fan might even be sitting in this VC right now.
Yeah, I asked Parrot when recording. Parrot said, "I need an actor to stand in a closet and get killed." And I said, "Oh, I could do that because I'm usually acting in the videos as like a nicknamed person." And I said, "Parrot, would it be too much if I had an account called Director Fan? Because at the point I did not have it, but I have a few alts because I need to make them for video, like for stuff. So I decided to rename one of my alts Director Fan and put them in the video because I thought it'd be really funny if the director had gained so much of a reputation of being like a feared person that he had like a cult following somewhere. I don't know. This is my headcanon, not necessarily actually canon, but hey, director Fan is canon. They are in Unstable Unit. Well, they're dead now, but were they a clone Fees, do you think? I don't know. Wifies, do you have any headcanon for them being a clone?
I think if it was a clone, he wouldn't known who the director was because they have that robotic communication, and I would believe that he would be a fan of his more successful clone brother. So, very much possible.
There we have it.
Okay, next up, we have insane question from deleted user. Let's see. Who actually was Director Fan? There we go. It was Watto. It was Watto. Oh, we're going past my questions. Okay, I'm gonna reply to the new question just because we're going on a bit of a jump. I think we passed all the unstable questions that I was in that section. So let's do. Where are we? Dang, bro, pregnant man emoji. Forgot I sent that. Let's keep scrolling. Not to worry, we're almost there. Okay, here. Perfect. So this is again from Mocha. I'm answering this one. Right? I think I can send messages even the channel is locked, right? Yeah. Prior to the director reveal, what was my first thought when I died? Honestly, a bit of nervousness, I think, because he had pretty much like executed his final plan. The director plan was a final resort, so the fact that we had to get there was pretty nerve-wracking. But he was definitely like nervous, but he knew what he had to do. Like he was set. There's a song I really like using in my videos that I used in the Andrew Gaming video. If you guys know it. this is what I imagine was going through his head. Like, this song ramps up. It's such a banger. I use it in like all my intense scenes. It ramps up in like a minute 30 in. That's what I imagine was going on through his head when he died. And he's like, I have to do this. Next question. Can you make a behind the scenes of how the director got born? Or after you finish the Unstable Universe series, make an extra behind the scenes series? I'm not going to say too much about this because I don't know how much I can. There have been some pitchings that I do some sort of episode of behind the scenes of Unstable, or like my journey as the director in canon, but I cannot go too much into it, so just don't think about that too much.
It's because they're scared of being full.
Because they're scared of
It'll never not be the best line ever.
All right, next question. Wifies, what do you think of the story of Yu Yu? I think it's phenomenal. I think recently, this is from Shrekfies, by the way. I think recently in the newer videos, Parrot has leaned a lot into, purposefully, by the way, leaned a lot into world building, which is like making the server feel more alive, having like random people and structures everywhere, and it feels like so much more immersive, which I think is such a good touch. Story is obviously great. Like, I know what Parrot has planned, and I'm really excited to see it. But of course, you'll see it soon. How many people are in Unstable? How do you get so many alts? This is, I guess, fun. This is good to know. I think the actual Unstable Universe server, the Discord server where we have all the actors, has around 100 YouTubers. But a lot of the random people you'll see, with the exception of Watto buying alts, is really just people like using a Nick plugin. Like, we do not have that many accounts. The 100 YouTubers are a lot of like one-time shows as well. So more often than not, it's like the same group of, let's say, 20 people using Nick plugins to act in the videos. And that's how we have so many. Yeah?
I do want to point this out. The alts I have logged on the server with are SwickMC, Watto1876, Watto1786, and Director Fan. But SwickMC, I think, has gone back ages ago. I think they were in season 1. So if you want a cool little task, I played SwickMC every time. And if you've seen them in the background, you know it's me. So small thing about that. I thought it was fun.
Mal asks about the Grumbo compilations. We're going to move right past that. Wifies, did you ever respond to my question, what do you know about Parfies? I think everyone here knows what I know about it. When the director dropped all those... This is from Irabal. I hope I said that right. When the director dropped all those armored zombies on Parrot, was it the director's plan to get Parrot to wear the armor, forcing Parrot to have the director's trims on him? I really like this. I don't know, honestly, what Parrot had in mind when he did that. However, I really like that interpretation, and I would canonize it in my head, and you're more than welcome to do it. I think that's a really cool way to explain it. Like, he wanted Parrot to wear his trims. Great question.
I do, though.
You know what? Oh, you made the trap.
Yeah, I made the trap.
Yes, you know.
For those unaware, I have made almost all of the traps in the Director saga thus far. I don't know much. I don't know in the future lore, obviously. Maybe I'll make more traps, hopefully. But I don't know anything about that stuff. But I did make that trap, and Parrot said that they wanted it to be kind of like poetic in a way. I don't remember their exact words, obviously. Don't quote me on this, but I was like, how should we, like, is this too many zombies? But he's like, no, it's gonna work for the video, and he was telling me about how it's gonna be. I forget the word he used. I think it was like fire or something. Well, what's a parrot word? I forget the parrot word that he uses. I have like parrotisms that like just only Parrot says.
Like skivity. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, it was not skivity though. It was not skivity because this was low key fire, or heat. I forget which one we're on this time. But yeah, no, it was very intentional and it was very poignant. Also, they don't have mending on the things, which I had to go back and redo a few zombies which was fun. But that was actually the quickest trap I made, because I've gotten so good at redstone at this point. And fun thing, World Edit broke for half of that. So take that information what you will. I'll stop going off a tangent. You back to Weebies.
See, that's a better. See, that's why Water's actually carrying, because I never would have known that. But now we do know that. Next
I know random
question.
things.
Next question from Rin. Rin. What do you think about you and your parrot's duos names, like Spyglass Duo and Odyssey Duo? I don't know if anyone watched the Tommy Inna video from about a year ago where he collabed with LD Shadow Lady, I think, and they called themselves Spyglass Duo, and I got heated because obviously that's theft of our identity. I think Odyssey Duo is really cool. That's the one I don't think I've ever called a Spyglass Duo, but of course I think it makes sense. I think Odyssey Duo is a pretty cool name. Next up from Banana Camp, bloopers. Yes, that will come out, I think, a little bit after Parrot drops his next video. Would he use to disguise people? I don't actually know what Nick mod we use. Maybe Watto knows.
I think it is I'm forgetting the name, which is entirely what you're asking. I think it's like Nick Hider or something. Oh, I forget what it is. Not Nick Hider. Because we use a plugin so that you actually, when you die, you have the name. So it's not just, the surface level one. It's broken more times than I can count, though. That's why I have so many alts. I think for the Wembu video, I actually had to buy an account because the Nick plugin just simply did not work. So I don't know if I would recommend the plugin. But if you give me like 20 seconds, I could probably get it, because this isn't a plugin that's essential for keeping secret. I don't think. No offense to Parrot, but this isn't. I don't think we should be gatekeeping something that's just a Nick plugin. I don't think it's custom made. Oh, okay. Sorry. Never
heard
mind.
it here first,
Can't
folks.
check.
Okay. Next question, also from Banana Camp. A really good question that I think I've been asked and responded to a lot, but it is a good question. Does Unstable Universe film videos based off of a strict script, or do you guys have a basis and you wing it? So it depends on the scene. For most scenes, Parrot won't even tell you what the outcome is going to be. He's just going to put you in there and he's going to say, be yourself and improv. Like, he'll just give you the premise, the basis, like you said, and we're just going to go. He knows what's going to happen, obviously, and he might lead us, but it's just going to happen. For important scenes, though, the dialogue will pretty much be mapped, like, word for word. In the Parrot reveal, all of our lines, except for, like, 2 that I threw in, which I improv'd, were pretty much strictly scripted. So it depends on the importance of the scene. But great question. Next up from Tora, do you think UU Purpled will ever come back? No. Next question from Lemon. Wifies, when does the Parfies fan service live stream come out? Also, stop queer baiting because I'm gonna crash out. Thank you. Next question from Papaya. Do you guys usually do multiple takes for Unstable Universe? So the answer to that is, I believe generally like 1 to 2. I don't think there's ever that many takes. And whenever there's something bad, Parrot just goes like, oh, don't worry, we're going to cut that out in post. We once had like a fight with Clown, and then he said that the dialogue was so skibbity that he just cut out the entire fight. So it's usually less retakes, which do happen, but it's usually less retakes and more so just cutting out parts that are bad. Because Parrot's also really respectful of people's time, so he usually opts for that option. Next question from Weefer Jumpscare, aka Wahooies. Will Parrot or any of the main cast ever appear in real Clonfies lore? I think so. I think this could happen. The question is if Clonfies lore will ever make a reappearance. But
yeah, I'm here.
We'll see. Next question from Glitch Q. Will you ever share what leverages you have on Ash? Kind of hinted to that being control over Squiddo, but also control over Clown. Not going to say anything objective, though. And thank you for taking the time. Oh, of course, my pleasure. Next up, do you... never mind. Wifies, what's a director from Ivory? Hey man, good question. Next question. This is going to be from Inactive. A really interesting question. Wado, I would like your input on this as soon as I finish. If the director were to have been a different character from Wifies, who do you think would have been the most interesting choice? I think that's a really cool question. I have no idea. Let me think about it so I don't give a bad answer. I think my mind first goes to Spoke, just because I feel like his character has a lot of just general potential with doing cool things. If it had to be anyone else, I feel like anyone that'd be too obvious would not work. I like the theory that it was time traveling Parrot from the future, but Parrot would never do that because his things are not supernatural. They're not sci-fi. I like the idea that it could have been Watto, and I like the idea that it could have been someone just called director that isn't even a YouTuber. I think Spoke would have been the most interesting because it's not like obvious. Like it's kind of obvious, but it's not as obvious as someone like Clown, which I think would be a good director, but it'd just be a bit too obvious. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think I agree with your choice. I think Spoke is probably one of the ones that if all of a sudden a different person encapsulated Spoke's body and YouTube channel and like decided where it was going, it could go completely different because the people who watch my content could probably guess where I would go with this 100 Days series. I know, big whoop. But like, if Wifies took over the channel, then it would be very different. Or like I think Spoke's character is so like it feels so uncertain, not in a bad way, in a really good way that makes you not feel comfortable with like what he's doing. You feel like you are a spectator in your own life, and it feels like Spoke is also like a parody of him. Like not even a parody, but like I think he's just a really good like at making me feel like something is there's something other he wants to show, but he can't show it. So I think it would be really cool if he was the director because having Spoke be really serious would be a complete tone shift, but I think it would really work. But yeah, no, you said Watto. I say Ken. I think it'd be cool if Ken were the director. And it's not like we're all without reason for doing stuff like this. But I think you have the best reason, and obviously that's why you are. But
Yeah.
that's all I
Although,
have
if
to
you
say.
guys want extra confirmation, this is from the man himself just now. Check the stage chat. That's right, guys. I know my series. I'm a good actor. I know exactly what he thinks. It was never any doubt in my mind. My answer was correct. Watto and I are geniuses. He just confirmed it.
We know the lore the best. This is why everything we say is canon. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. Next question. Let's get on with it. Dun 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 dun. Where are we?
We're at 6.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, this is from Mocha on 10:21. SBK, I don't know if you're like asking anything in that question, bro. So I'm on Mocha from 10:21 p.m. What was Wifi's first thought? I think I answered that. He was nervous, but he's like, this is like execute order 66 type B. Like he is doing what he has to do. That's a Star Wars thing, right? Execute order 66. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like.
I think it's the right word.
Yeah.
I think it's when he was doing all the crazy things.
All right, next up. How long do recording sessions usually take? For the 3-hour ones, they could be really long, but now that we have the 30 to 50 minuters, it's usually around, I don't know if you have a different experience, Watto, but I'm usually there for like an hour, give or take. And it's like every other day for the course of 2 weeks or for the course of a week.
The important thing to note here is the recording session is very
True.
short.
The
The
yapping and waiting.
the yapping and waiting beforehand and during is like an extra 30 minutes. And the after party, I like to call it, or just hang out, is sometimes like 2 hours. So it's not all serious. We have fun. I'm not saying like we're bestest of friends, but it's a friendly environment. And just to speak on the behalf of the people not on behalf, but speak for the validity of the kindness of the people who I work with. Everyone's been really cool, and it's just a really great people to be around. So, thumbs up.
Yes, sir. Next up, why did I kill Newfully? I think we already know this. Guys, let's be real. Was it out of jealousy? There is a logical reason, whether or not it was. When did you and Parrot first meet? I assume this is not talking about in person, but we first met when I either invited him to do an escape room for my second channel, or when I invited him and Rec. I think it was when I invited him and Rec to be in my Deadliest Trap video around 3 years ago. I reached out to him and then we bonded because he was pretty much the only other person in my life that I know of who was in my position who had like 1 million subscribers and was about to go to college and didn't know if he wanted to. Like Sipover didn't go to college. Other people did go to college, but like didn't like realistically it wouldn't have been safe to drop out into YouTube. Parrot was like the only one who was in my position, so we bonded over that, and the rest is history. Next question. This is from Yuminju. I'm sorry, if that's Korean per the thing in your bio. That was terrible pronunciation. Harvard question. I'll respond to that later. UU trivia. Any fun bits of UU trivia? Oh, I wish. Dean the
I should have
Bean is
prepared
not only canonically stupid, he's actually dumb. Like, bro's debatably worse at Minecraft off script than he is on script. The guy's really smart, but his Minecraft skills are debatably worse. Parrot makes him do things that he wouldn't have even done in script. Great guy, though. I love him. Any other trivia bits? What, do you have anything good?
This is the most well-known trivia about me, but I was written in essentially on the fly for Wembu's video. I was not supposed to be in Unstable at all. But Wembu was like, great escape room. I didn't realize that it was going to have a part where we're completely apart from the other person. So could you just like, stand around me and, heckle me a bit, like just yell at me and stuff? And I was like, sure. So that's my fun trivia. Yeah, can I have a hint? Exactly. That's where that started.
Also trivia from the very first video I did with Parrot, Minecraft's Greatest Secret. In the chess game that we play at the end, I was smoking his cheeks, and he had to tell me to pretty much make it so we go into a draw. Like, let me tell you, I was rolling him in chess, and so we had to make it. I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding. Like, I was winning. It wasn't like crazy, but I was winning. So that's good trivia. Next question.
Oh, wait. I have one last thing.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
For those who want to know, for those who don't know, the part where in my Infinite Escape room where Parrot goes into Wifies' room in the escape room video, that was actually, I think, partially my idea, but Parrot was down for it. So when it came to Wifies' things, I was like, Parrot, it's time. He's at the place.
I didn't even know that was gonna happen. By the way, that was fully a surprise. If you know what he's talking about.
Yeah, It was completely on a whim, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna build a lot of hype if this gets views. So not a lot of hype, but it was gonna build a little bit of hype. So I was like, yeah, it's fun.
What? I'm trying to think if there's anything. I'm just going through all the episodes we did together. We don't cheat our escape rooms. This is I guess like less trivia, but more so like A little bit of trivia. All the escape rooms, with the exception of one, all the escape rooms that me and Parrot have done for videos, we've actually like solved. There was no fraudulence, except for one in the giant wreck rap tree. The final room with the shulkers, if anyone remembers that, there was a room where you had to use some shulkers to levitate in a creative way. And for our lives, me and Parrot died like 6 times, and we just faked it. Like every other escape room thing is real, but that rolled us. So, you know.
You reminded me about the tree. Here's fun trivia. I actually, canonically, I live in the tree because it was just a convenient place. And I thought it was just funny. So I built my own little cubby inside the tree because there was a lot of dead space. That's the only escape room I didn't build entirely by myself. I did not build the actual tree. I built the escape room parts of it.
Yeah, Wado has like just hella bases all over the map.
Yeah, I don't know how canonical it is, but Ken and I have just been trying to one up each other, jokingly, obviously. And I don't know if Ken consciously knows that I'm doing this, but I've just been like, yeah, I've got thousands of bases around the server. Just for stasis and things to live. I have millions of like armor sets just at my disposal. So I was like, why not? But that's not canonical. That's just what I wish would happen. Maybe it is. Who knows?
All right, we'll probably skip. There's a lot of trivia that we could say, but we're gonna keep going.
Yeah, I'm done now. I'm done.
Um, when you first saw people shipping Parfies, how did you react? How did Parrot react as well? Parrot was low-key probably scared for his brand. I never actually asked him, but I thought it was quite funny. So that is that answer. Next up, but I'm not trying to speak for Parrot, by the way. I never asked him. When the lines of the director were revealed. Oh, sorry. The lines, I think I mentioned this. The lines of the director reveal were pretty much scripted. I improv'd like 2 lines in that I thought would flow better than what he gave me, but it was pretty much scripted bar for bar by Parrot. Does Director Fees still hold on to the spyglass? Yes, he does. It's his motivation. Next question by JK. Next question by Evil Fees, aka Devdicated. How does Darap feel knowing... I'll get back to Star's question just because it's not directly Unstable Universe. Next question, how does Darap feel knowing he can't call you dead guy anymore? Let me tell you, when he learned I was the director, especially after he was unironically sure I was dead, it was really funny. So, poor guy.
It was funny knowing all along.
True. This next question is from Veronica Lexi. And Wifies, my mom thought the new Parrot video was a love story. What are your thoughts on her comment? Next question from Dasev. This has 14 parts, so we're gonna rapid fire out. The answers to these. We're just gonna bounce through it. So, awards, Unstable Universe. Best episode, in my opinion, I glazed this episode to the end of Earth. I think it's Proton. I think it's so creative. Worst episode, in Parrot's view. Oh wait, it's the button that destroys the world. If you even count that as Unstable, the first one, absolute flopper. Parrot thinks the story's bad. If you want the actual Unstable videos, I know the one where me and Parrot venture around getting all the items for the various people who disappeared was low-key kind of filler. So that would be the actual answer. Best character, let's be so for real, it's Wifies. Best arc, I think we've only had like 2 arcs, unless you count each episode as its own arc, right? I mean, I think the director arc is by far the most like cumulatively cool one, because not only is each video individually watchable, it builds so much hype while being accessible to new viewers, which I think is perfect. Best duo, come on guys, who do you think you're asking? Best Empire and Civilization. Also, I don't watch too many of Spoken Wembu's videos, so if my answers like only look like they're coming from Parrot's videos, then that's why. So I don't have the full lore at my fingertips. But the best Empire and Civilization, with that said, it was the Dean the Bean Void Civilization. Most underrated episode? I think, let me actually check. I think Doomsday is slept on with views, but I'm pretty sure me and Parrot were talking about this the other day in call. The first war, I think the first war deserves more views. I think the intro is gas. Yeah, I think it's really good. Slept on video. Most underrated duo. Like, why aren't Wembu and Watto officially canon?
I think he just kind of moves away. Anyway, continue.
Most powerful is myself. Most annoying is myself. Funniest is myself. JK, it's probably Coin Monkey. Or actually, it's probably Dean or Coin Monkey. Most creative video-wise is probably Parrot. Like, his stories are kind of insane. Like, let's be real. But I do think the other guys on the server are equally phenomenal, and all their videos are, like, let's be so for real, objectively some of the best Minecraft content on YouTube. Most underrated person in the universe? Guys, let's Ratrick and Finian duo goes kind of crazy. That's also an underrated duo. Those guys are so good in every bit they're in. Next up, most forgotten. Who's the most forgotten person or on Unstable? Dun dun dun. Just pick someone random from Corrupt Civ or someone who is like in the PvPers. Let me go to a random
Luigi was
section of Farlands. Does anyone remember who's a guy from
Who's in the
Farlands?
Farlands?
Who's in the Farlands PvP Civ that like no one is gonna know?
Luigi.
Someone's lost in the Farlands and they're like just wandering aimlessly.
Wait, which
The
one?
most forgotten.
Which one's the video where we play Capture the
Luigi
Flag? Is
was
it
death
Farlands?
banned off of our
Farlands,
Minecraft
yeah.
server.
I think that's
No, we don't even get to the. I burned the compass and searched for the Farlands, so it has to be the first
'Cause-
war.
Ultimate goal.
yeah.
I'll tell
Oh,
you,
yeah. I forgot Farlands is an actual
It is
video.
first war. Oh, I remember someone clipping me like getting mad because Parrot took a potion from Watto and not myself, which was kind of funny. Okay, guys, do you guys remember? Do you guys remember Lamaby? I'm sure they're a great guy, but Carrot just cast like 10 people for the PvP Civ.
Slick MC was one of them.
Lami.
They didn't play there.
Lamaby, my goat. Underrated. Definitely most underrated character. Lamaby from PvP Civ. Not Lamity. Lamaby. My goat. Okay, next up. What are the things... Oh, sorry, it's not a Unstable Universe question. What do you know about Parfies? This question has been asked by the same person. Freak Berries. Name checks out 3 times. More questions. Let's rapid fire these out. There's 7 questions. Is Wifies or Clone Fees turning into Evil Fees? I do think so. I think Clone Fees was a template. If we assume Clone Lore is canon, then the Clone Fees was a template made by Evil Fees to solve escape rooms with no real personality. He pretty much just had like the essence of a personality, but as he becomes more human by virtue of spending time with humans, the traits that were subconsciously put into him by his creator, Evil Fees, off of which he's modeled, will begin to manifest, if that makes sense. So he's going to adopt more of those human traits from like bad human traits, mind you. Or like human traits, but destructive traits, not bad. Is last year April Fool's going to be continued? That is a question that conveniently we have Watto in the VC for, and I will just say TBD. But
Yeah.
we do not know. We do not know. But
We do not know.
hopefully one day I think it can happen.
I can actually say something. I can say something.
Yeah.
And that is, I personally do have a project I want to do that involves 3 of them. It's not just the 3 of us, but it involves y'all. So
Mhm.
I'll say that.
Next question from Freakberries. Are you the queer baiter? Who's surprised Freakberries is asking this? Next question. How do you feel about Parchu? Guys, I think that's also kind of an underrated duo. I think we're pretty funny in our dynamic. I think Rapchu is really funny, contrary to popular belief. So I'm glad. I'm glad that I can just bounce off of him because he's really good at leading the conversation. To his credit. Like, I'm less of a conversation leader. I think that guy's pretty funny. Can I take a clone fuse for myself? Sure, there's plenty. When are we getting another KWW video? Ken Wifies Watto? Ken Watto Wifies? Who knows? Eventually. Just look out. Is Parfy's canon? Platonically. But you already know how. You already know the stance on this. Okay, next up from Sior or Kior. Probably Sior, right? AKA Planet with a 9. Hi, Wifies. Is Yaoi about to be canon in Unstable Universe? Lol, crying emoji. Also, do you reckon Yu Wifies has any specific details about him that's different to his regular design? I think he definitely... I really like the people who draw art with, like, charms. Like, Parrot has a little yin-yang charm, and I have a little feather charm. I think that could definitely be... That could definitely... Sorry. Is it not pronounced yaoi? Is it yaoi? Yaoi?
Yahoo!
Guys, I don't know how it's pronounced. I say it yaoi. That's how I read it.
Hey guys, it's me, your boy.
Yowie. Oh, it's Yowie. Oh, well, I've been saying it wrong. Okay, next up. I do think the charms on Wifi's design and Parrot's design, like the little yin yang, is phenomenal. I think those are really cool little trinkets. Next up, this person, quick question from Shivers, aka Silly T Gaming. You made the Wifi's dating game. I remember that. It was pretty sick art. If you actually want to do it, by all means, just make sure the other people you include would be comfortable with it. Like, I think I'm pretty clear that I don't mind about this stuff insofar as it doesn't harm, or the other people that I'm involved with don't mind as well, which isn't something I can speak on. But I do think the idea is, of course, like, I give you my blessing, but I'd be cautious. Next up, have you seen the fan art about the new Unstable Universe video? Yes. Oh my god, the highlight of my day is going on Twitter or the Ask Wifies or the art channel and looking at all the fan art. Like, I heart posts and save them to my computer that I think are really sick. Like, it's actually been so good, it's unbelievable. So if anyone's watching that knows anyone or that has made art, like, thank you, because it's absolutely incredible and it's so cool to see, like, people engaging with it. So if you have, know that it's very appreciated. Do keep it up as long as you want to, but it does mean a lot. Like, it makes it feel so alive. Also, yeah, the anime opening with, like, the Chainsaw Man music that someone made for Unstable Universe. If you haven't watched that, look up, like, if Unstable Universe had an anime intro. It's like phenomenal. Like, it's so cool. I watched it like 6 times. So shout out to everyone that made art and is thinking of making art. Like, it's always very appreciated. Keep it up. Next question. All right. I forgot, this is from Leo. Canonically, did anyone know that I was the director? No, nobody knew. I talked through intermediaries to all the players. So maybe Ash knew there's a case to be made, but I think the way I thought about it was that it was like a chain of whispers. I watched this documentary today about how El Chapo ran his cartel from prison, insane tangent, but he pretty much like gave orders remotely, so like he didn't even need to be there. That's how I imagine the director did it. Like, it was just an info feeding chain that, like, the director never personally talked to anyone. He just gave instructions to people who gave instructions, and that's how I'd do that. That's how I answer that. Next up, are you planning to upload bloopers? Yes, I will. Wifies, are you on your villain arc now? I suppose I am. Wifies, this is from Sandstorm, shout out. Wifies, did you just release the suspense of the director thing, or did you do that tweet as a bit? Not sure what that means. The tweet, what Parrot did pull me and Watto and Ken, who doesn't have Twitter, into a group chat asking us all to tweet it at the same time. So the tweeting was definitely very much orchestrated. It was a really cool promotion thing, and I think it built a ton of hype. Like, Parrot's so good at generating hype. Next up,
It rivaled that of I'm How to Basic. if anyone remembers that.
True.
Continue.
Back in the day. You use spoilers from Avery. Would Wifies clip Parrot's wings so he couldn't fly away from him? Dang, bro. I don't think he'd clip them. Maybe he'd cover them, but I don't think he'd ever clip them. From Erin is not here. How far would you Wifies go to keep Parrot safe? Now, I think we sacrifice himself. Like, that's really interesting. I'll look at the second part in a second, given Watto is here. I think if there was ever a scenario that forced Wifies to die for Parrot to live, and it was purely 50-50, Wifies would die. Like, there's no question. He would obviously want to avoid getting himself killed, just because he can then guarantee, like, how is he going to protect Parrot if he's banned, right? Besides buy an alt. But how is he going to protect Parrot? So he's never going to want himself to die for that reason, but if he had to, he would. And then if it came down to it, if Wifies had to pick between keeping Parrot safe or Canadian Watto's lives, unfortunately, Watto is getting the axe. Next question we have from...
Alt accounts are only free.
alt accounts are only $30 though. Next up, we have a question from Possibilis. Hope that was okay. JK, that's not an unstable question. Whoops. I'll answer it later. This is from Pink Leaf. I have no idea if this is just a headcanon. Okay, fine, guys. You're reacting to the Avor question. Wifies, are you AI? No. Contrary to popular belief. This is from Pink Leaf. I have no idea if this is just a headcanon or... But when Wifi said he had to kill his past self to become who he is today, does that mean Evil Fees killing Clone Fees? I don't think so. I think it's all... If anything, it's always been Clone Fees. But it was more so just a figurative, like, I had to throw away this part of my identity so that this other part could, like, go free or whatever. But I literally answered that. Shout out Wahooies for shouting the answer. Next question from Mal. Are you going to enchant Parrot's armor with Curse of Binding so he has to wear it? That'd be pretty funny. Low-key I would. Next question. Oh, here it is. First question was the armor... was the armor trim that I use as the director representing the yin-yang on my skin. Parrot initially wanted me to use a different trim, but I chose the director trim that you see today because I thought it looked really cool. I thought it by far looked like the coolest trim, and I do think it matches like the, I guess for lack of a better word, like yin-yang, I suppose, like that, I don't know how to describe it, like oriental aesthetic, like the flow trim kind of has that matches the skin. So yes, that was a conscious choice because it looked cool, to answer that question. Second question, do you have any involvement in the script writing? Parrot will sometimes bounce off ideas with me, and we'll discuss it like that. But mostly he does all the writing. I kind of give post-writing input on, like, if he has a question, like if he thinks something is a bit ambiguous, whatever, he'll ask me. But it's more him, Wembu Spoke, and I guess Flame now, that do it together. Like, I have less input. Final question, how's your day? It's actually been very nice, thank you. All right, let's see. We've been going for around just over an hour. Thank you, everyone, for sticking by. I think we're going to try to finish the questions. There's... Okay, let's go a little bit faster, but we're gonna go through the questions, don't you worry. Until I have to eat dinner. But we're still going, so don't think of the ending anytime soon. Because we still have a lot of people, which is nice. Next question. We'll go a little quicker, though. This is not Unstable Universe. Oh, I guess this is. I assume this is Unstable Universe from Real Nina. What music does Wifies listen to? Again, if this is me IRL, then I don't know. But Unstable Universe Wifies loves the disc style. What does Wifies do in his free time? Plan to keep Parrot safe. He doesn't have a lot of free time. He has to pull a lot of strings. Question number 3. Does he have a wall of images with Parrot like in the detective movies? I think in his mind he probably does. And does he get overjoyed seeing Parrot with his armor on? This seems like a bit of a leading question, but I wouldn't say he dislikes it. So next question. Wifies, do you have a Parfies doomed Yowie? So I said it right. Yowie shrine in your room? Next question from Jack. Wifies, does the unstable scriptwriting team make the script for the whole season, or do they make it while the season progresses? I think they have an idea of what they want to do at the end of the season, but it's not concrete. It becomes concrete on an episode-to-episode basis. But I think the overall arc is more or less planned, at least for Parrot. Next question. Shout out David. Thank you. Next question. From Abyssal, you said that in your head Yu is tied to the Ken Wifies Watto collab and that he's a clone. How'd that work in Canadian? I think they do remember what happened. I just don't think it matters. Like, I think Ken and Watto know where I'm from, and that's why we're tight like that. But I don't think, like, it's a big enough deal for them to go and tell anyone. Like, it's just, it's a fact of life.
None of us are main characters, so we're not gonna just go blab about it. I mean, don't keep your connections out out for the world to see. You use them against you.
Yeah. Question 2, what leverage did Wifies have over Ash? You guys know the answer by that. Question 3, is Wifies going to kill any other members of BAT? No comment. Also, what are your opinions on fan fiction? Me and a few of my friends in my dorm in the fall actually went on AO3 and we read some. So that's funny. And I will not go any further than that. But everyone was really entertained, so shout out the writers. Next up,
Can I do a server plug in the middle of this video?
Sure.
We're going to host a Wifies fanfiction stage reading at some point in the near future too as well.
We?
So
who is we?
Me and a couple other staff.
Okay.
I'm in this.
Good plug. Next up, from Jasper, Wifies, we know that Yu Wifies started his director arc. Started his director at the end of End Civilization, but when and why did he decide it was the best way to protect Parrot? Okay, so pretty much the biggest reason, I think the death planning could have happened at any point, whenever, just like a bit after when Wifies was thinking through the plan. The reason, it's a good question, he had to fake his own death, was because he needed some time, like, away from Parrot. It's a bit of a compromise of, like, always staying by Parrot's side and looking non-suspicious, but if he had to do what he needed to do without Parrot noticing, like, he had to have a reason to be away. And dying is a pretty good reason to be away. Next question from Owen. Do you think Ken and Watto knew about Wifies being the director? Wifies would not have told them. They might have figured it out canonically. This could happen, but it would then imply that they didn't do anything about it. So shout out the friends. But that is up for interpretation. Yeah, they're real ones. Next question from Ivory. Is there anyone in Unstable Universe Wifies wouldn't sacrifice for Parrot? Absolutely not. Parrot comes first. Next question from Blavity. Why did Yu Wifies flash Spoke's chest plate? This is because he wanted to kind of put doubt in Parrot's mind that Spoke could be the director. And in doing so, he was like, he knew that in doing so, Parrot would accuse Spoke, even though Jumper knew that it couldn't have been Spoke. And therefore they would have conflict. So he pretty much wanted to cause conflict on the Bat team, and he knew that by flashing the chest plate, he would get conflicting info to come out of Parrot and Jumper. They would fight, etc. Isn't the purpose of you to send Frankdale's killed? Also, who's Evil Fees and Clone Fees? You poor soul. No, just kidding. Next up. How did Yu Wifies get so many connections? Because I assume not everyone has something to exploit. It's more so because he's very smart. Yu Wifies is canonically, no self-glaze, the smartest character in the series. if not by Minecraft knowledge like Watto, but just by intelligence. So he is pretty much able to predict almost to a T. Think of it like Death Note, where Wifies, even though, spoiler, Light was not the smartest, think of Wifies like Light and Parrot like L, where these guys are just like two super geniuses duking it out, but Wifies has such an information advantage, like he knows how to get people to do what he wants. So like Wifies is genius. Like, let's be real, did we ever doubt this? So he was able to get leverage on almost anyone by virtue of just knowing how to do the right thing. I know it's an ambiguous answer, and maybe it's because I low-key don't know, but you will take that. Next question from Rin. Next question from Rin. If anything ever happened to Parrot like he was killed, what would Wifies do? Wifies would not let that happen. Next question. Wifies would not let that happen. Let's be so for real. Next question from Wisp. In Parrot's video in Jumper's base, there was a mechanism that gave mining fatigue when activated. I wanted to know if that was a real redstone thing. I actually have no idea. Maybe Watto knows. But
yes, this is going to be the last thing I'm going to answer before I have to go for a bit.
Okay.
Well, probably for the rest of this. But yes, I used it in the Newfully, no, not Newfully. It's Real Me base where the sand came falling down. It's not as crazy as you probably are thinking. It's literally just Elder Guardians in water columns, and you switch the water columns to bubble columns, and the Guardians fly up. So it's very easy, and it's not as instant as it usually is on the videos, unless you have like 20 Elder Guardians there. But yeah, it's a real thing. It's not even that crazy. It's just once you see it, it makes much more sense.
Bet. So if you're heading out, Watto, then thank you very much for stopping by. It's very much.
No problem.
It was more enjoyable with you here, so thank you.
Anytime. I might be back. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see.
There's a 2% chance.
Say goodbye to
Let's see it.
Watto, and we will go to the next question.
07s. All right, see. I'm actually just gonna keep they're gonna keep saying bye if I keep saying I'm going to leave. It's kind of funny. All right, bye.
Bye. Next question from Ari. I've always been really curious whether Unstable Universe members see what the community makes. Yes, they do. Even if they don't respond to it publicly, I know a ton of them see it. It always gets sent. Not always, but like a lot of stuff gets sent in the Discord server. I'll send art that I think is cool. Wembu Spoke, Parrot, anybody will send art they think is cool. So people do watch the fan-made stuff. Like, they really love it. Everyone gets super heated. Or, like, heated in a good way. You know, everyone gets hyped. Next up, I saw a TikTok comment that Watto played the director when the Newfly scene happened. Is that true? Yes, it absolutely is true. Hold up. Okay, we're back. From Toffee, Wifies, is Parrot aware that people cry during the new video? Yeah, he probably knows, and he's probably smiling about it. He's a weird guy, you know. Very strange fella. Next question. Oh, it's a very interesting question from aka Odd Girl Out. I don't know if this was answered, but whatever happened to Parrot's allay? If you guys remember, Parrot had an allay on the Journey to the Farlands video, to which he gave Luigi's Emerald, I'm pretty sure. And Loki, I think it was forgotten. So, shout out any retcon narratives you can think of. But let's say canonically, I smuggled it because I was jealous that Parrot gave it attention, right? We can go with that, because then Parrot's story is flawless. So, no worries here. Alright, next up. You ever seen... It's not a civil question. Was Flame Frag... This is from Stamidios. Was Flame Frag's joining Unstable Universe planned before Season 2? I actually don't think so. I don't know, though. I have no idea. Low-key, I have no idea. I'd be lying. Um, will there be bloopers in the future? Yes. Why did I say that? Yes. Next from Mika, Wifies, the director is the moonwalking spy, right? Ping, please. That would be pretty accurate, I believe. That'd be accurate to say. I would not doubt such a saying. Next up. Okay, this is from Glitch. I think I already answered the first question. What is Mr. Cube's relationship with Wifies? He is half threatened, half boss. He gets compensated very well. Wifies is quite rich, so you could think of it as a boss relationship, but he's also definitely threatened. Like, he knows he can't back out because he knows too much. Out of all the assassins, who is the director slash Clonefee's least favorite? He did not like True because he felt that he could control him less, and he was a very big fan of Mr. Q because he's the most obedient and debatably most smart. What does Wifies do in all of his time of loneliness as the director? He doesn't. He has no time for stewing. He is always planning. He has to make sure that everything is going to work out. So this guy never has any downtime. Who is Clonefee's favorite member of BAT? It is most definitely Durapchu because he poses the least threat. And how does Unstable Universe Wifies feel up whenever you have to meet up with Parrot before the reveal? It, like, initially hurt a little bit, but obviously, like, he knew it was for a good cause, so he didn't mind. Next question. Whose POV apart from Parrot do you watch the most? It's from the actual Melon. Low-key nobody's, but I watch a bit of Spoke. And thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Next up. From Overtureza. Wifies, are the 4-hour-long movies gonna come back? The 20-minute uploads are so bad. I do not think the 4-hour videos are ever going to come back. I think Parrot and the rest of them want to fully transition away from the longer videos just to appeal to the widest range of people. Because on the plus side, it means they get to upload more frequently. But if you think about it, like, in terms of scope, the mentality is like the longer videos. There are a lot of people who just wouldn't watch super long videos. Whereas, like, they think 45 to 50 minutes is, like, the optimal middle ground of long and not long that has the most possible target audience. So that is that. So they're going to keep it at that length as far as I know. Also, it's just easier to record, and I think it's a bit more fun because it's less burnout sessions. Quick questions from, I hope it's Julia, but I actually do not know. How does Wifies look? Are there some details you headcanon? I think he looks very similar to what you imagine Wifies looks like. Besides, of course, I've mentioned the little trinkets he has, like a little feather, I think would be sick. How did you meet Ken and Watto? It's not an unstable question, but I suppose... I actually have no idea. I reached out to Ken to be in one of my escape room videos, and then I think I reached out to Watto for help with an escape room at a similar time, and we just bonded from there. Are we getting more Ken Wifies Watto lore? Hopefully soon. Guys, I actually don't know who the moonwalking spy is. I assume this is in the new Spoke video, but I just don't know who that is. So, I'm gonna say that he's a good guy. It's Mapik? I don't know. I don't know. Alright, do you play any sport? We're just gonna go through these because whatever. Do I play any sport? I rock climb, and I really like playing badminton. Is Director Fuse gonna kill people in the near future? No spoilers. Does he know that he's hurting Parrot? He does, but he knows that he has to do it to keep Parrot safe. Would Director Fuse try to manipulate Parrot? He doesn't want to do anything. Ideally, he doesn't want to do anything bad to Parrot, but he will do what he has to do to keep him alive. There's nothing he's not gonna stop at anything, pretty much, as long as Parrot's okay. Favorite place you've traveled to? I went to Norway. I thought it was really sick. I thought it was extremely beautiful, so definitely up there. Also been to Japan with a few friends, so that was also really fun. Great places. Yeah, shout out Boost for Norway. He gave us a ton of useful information. Also, shout out Boostfer in general. If you check my name MC, look at the recent skin. New video coming? Question mark. Next question. If you had to turn to killing Parrot's friends, who would you kill first? I don't have a personal vendetta against anyone, but it's pretty much just whoever would need to be killed first. Probably not Darapchu, because he poses the least threat. Next question from Quarina, I believe. This is today. Guys, we're almost done with the questions. We're getting there. This is from Quarina. Does Wifies, as the director, think Proton was a bad idea? No, he thinks the philosophy of Proton is bad, but okay, he thinks the philosophy of Proton is good insofar as he's in control. So he likes the idea of Proton, but he doesn't like the idea of anyone else running it, because at that point he still hadn't had like real leverage over Ash, or he hadn't thought about it yet. He was still pretty confident they would survive, hence why he didn't really mind, but he doesn't like other people telling him what to do, or his or Parrot's life in other hands. Next up, Parrot should never... He doesn't mind how Parrot feels, it's so long as Parrot is safe. So he doesn't like, if Parrot feels in danger, it's one thing, but if Parrot is in danger, totally different thing. And there's too many dangerous people for Wifies to punish all of them, so he's going to resort to keeping Parrot safe. He considered, this is from Lori, I believe, Wifies did consider other avenues of keeping Parrot safe besides faking his death. However, he just needed the time, and this made the most sense given the circumstances. And if Parrot had agreed not to go to the Far Lands, would that have stopped Wifies from faking his death? Absolutely. I think they would have probably kept running until they were fully backed into a corner, but Wifies faked his death because that's the only thing he could do in the circumstance. If he wanted to call that off, he could have notified Ash, but the circumstances made it happen that way, because Parrot didn't run. Next up, will the recording be edited? Great question. I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to post like an unlisted link, because this video is really long. It might just be a dubious unedited podcast, which I feel bad for anyone watching, but that's what you're going to get, because I cannot be asked to edit something this long. So it's just going to be there if anyone wants to watch it back. It'll be unlisted on my second channel, I think is how I'm going to do it. But anyone can watch it whenever. Next up, who plays Dean the Bean 9 from the actual Melon? This was actually interesting since I was told not to say it, but it was literally just tweeted, and the tweet's doing pretty well. So I suppose like it's essentially public information at this point, and Parrot knows it's public information. But Dean the Bean was one of Parrot's classmates along with Woogie and Vortex. This was just tweeted on like the Parrot trivia account. But if you look back in the school SMP videos, you can find him there. So it's not like private, but like for Dean's privacy reasons, it's just like out of concern. But if you look in school SMP, you will find Dean there. So it's not like it came from nowhere. But just like, yeah, for the sake of Dean's privacy, it's not talked about that much. But it's not like Parrot's like hiding it under wraps. Next up, what does Wifies think of Darap? I just mentioned that inadvertently. He's very inconspicuous. He's not a threat. Oh yeah, literally someone just responded. It's in school SMP. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't my favorite voice line was me saying I am Wifies. I thought it was kind of funny. Like I am Iron Man, you know? Next line from I'm sorry I cannot say the name, bro. From Shark Ruins on Twitter, made your profile picture though. How do you feel about Odyssey Duo being the modern day version of Grumbo? I don't think anyone can hold a candle to what Grumbo had back in the day, so it's an honor. Next question. From Picat or Pikachu. Super important question, very serious. Who is your favorite of Jumper's spies? Of course, it'd be spy number 1257. I think easily the most important spy. Mocha again. Why'd you kill Newfly? We already know. What was your first few thoughts when you died? We already know. Would you really kill all of Parrot's friends? Yes, I already would, but Parrot would never let that happen. What's Evil Fuse? It's like a battle of leverage, right? Because I know that Parrot isn't gonna let his friends die. That's why I can use them as leverage, knowing I'm never gonna really have to kill them. But if Parrot calls my bluff, which he won't, then I would kill them. Question to you, Wifies. Do you think Parrot will try to kill you? There are no spoilers to that regard. Next question. From Jam. Will Wifies go back to being a silly guy, or will he be a manipulator for the rest of his life? He will do what he has to do to keep Parrot safe. No more spoilers. Evil Fees asks, aka Devdicated, how exactly powerful is Wifies as the director now? Unimaginably. Probably the goat of all goats. Like the strongest person on the server. By far. How did you choose the director armor trims? I thought they looked cool. Do you think I'm mentally hurting Parrot? Absolutely. But I have to do it. Wifies, how much did you Wifies play Doki Doki Literature Club, aka Yandere Simulator, to turn out like he did? One must assume a lot. Next up, Jay, was it planned for Newfleet died at the beginning of the season? No, it was. I think it was planned from the episode before Newfleet. Next up, will you ever call for Moon Jelly? Will you ever call Parrot darling in an actual video? I don't think he'd let that slide. Next question. Will the replies be recorded? Yes. That would not help you if you were not present. When burning the compass from Nixie in the Farlands episode, I think it was Wifi's definitely most blatant act of controlling Parrot. I think it was like, yes, it was like an ultimatum. And I really do like the analysis you had. Like, it does mean this is the moment where he's like almost showing his true colors in a sense. Like, Parrot, what you want is bad for you. I need you to listen to me. This is from Kodud. Does Wifi's care about Parrot's emotions or feelings? Yes, but they do come second to him being alive. But maybe it'll finally click for him one day that being alive and trapped is almost not being alive at all. So we'll see. Next up, oh guys, we're almost at the bottom. Holy moly. Question from Raspneru. Is there a story from before Parrot and Wifi's meeting on Unstable? I think Parrot knew of me is the way that it was written. He knew that I was kind of a genius, but he didn't know me like that canonically. He didn't actually know me. How canon are other servers to UU? Pretty much not at all, as far as I know. It's totally separate. Question from Woozir. What is your favorite theory you've heard about Unstable Universe? Someone said this in my Discord. This is kind of biased because I am Wifi's, or like, sorry, what did I just say, bro? It's like a Wifi's based theory, but I really like the idea that Clone Fees is becoming more human and then adopting the characteristics of Evil Fees who made him as he becomes more human. I think that's a phenomenal interpretation, and it's by far the one that I want to go with. So whoever said that, shout out. Other good theories. I can't discuss theories because I know I know it's gonna happen. So it's more so my personal headcanon simulator of which ones I like the most. But yeah, I'll let you know if I think of anything. Almost done. From Kind Soul. Is Yu if he's going to be obsessive or possessive? I think possessive is probably an accurate word. Like, it is his goal to keep Parrot safe at all costs. Like, if that's not possessive, I don't know what is. And what are your plans after revealing yourself to Parrot? Obviously, no spoilers. From Ass Akaturn. Will Parrot ever forgive Wifies? You'll find out. And from Canary. What's your favorite part about playing your characters, and who's your favorite character to play? I assume of all the cross-universal Wifies, I like playing Evil Fees. I think he's a very different persona from what I usually do. My favorite part is just being able to tell the story with that persona. I think it's definitely very, very cool. And from Cookies, is Old Beefy's gonna come back? You will see in the next video. And wait, is Wifi's in school? Guys, that's a mod, but I am in school. I'm on summer break. So, that finishes all the Unstable Universe questions. I think we are about to open Ask Wifies for a bit of time. Get your question in now. Any question that arrives in the next, let's say, well, any question that arrives in the next, I don't know, 3 or so minutes, type it up. I'll answer, and then we're getting out of here. Thank you all for showing up. Ask Wifies will hopefully be open. Not by me. I don't know how to do it. But let it open.
All right, we're gonna open it. Slow mode is going to be 1 hour. So get your question ready or get your list of questions ready. And we are opening it now.
Questions are open. We're going to answer everything in the next, like, anything that comes, I think, before 7 p.m. Eastern, AK, in, like, well, just 3 minutes. I'll answer, and then I will head out because it is dinner time, and I have a recording with a certain Mr. Paradox2 in a few minutes. Holy questions. Everyone watch as they flood in. Also, guys, if there are any not Unstable Universe related questions, I'll answer them with a message separately. Not right now. I'm just gonna go through like all the, because those are the other ones that I'd reply to. I'm just gonna bulk answer the Unstable Universe ones. So know that. I guess I can low-key go as they come, but you know. Okay, guys, there's a lot of questions. I suppose I suppose we can just answer everything that has been said now. Yeah. The question stopped. Do we call it? Let's answer everything that was just sent. Okay, perfect. Yeah, when I get to the bottom, I think we'll call it. So, going back up, starting with Tackle. Question 1. Will there ever be Unstable Universe merch? I cannot say, because I'm not like the council would be Flame Wembu Spoke Parrot. I have heard discussions, but do not interpret that as anything real. So for now, assume no, but get excited if yes. Question 2. I can't promise that, but maybe. From Blake, shout out. Why does bro not have the YouTube role? When Unstable Universe first started, did you expect it to grow this much and become this popular? This was from the outside looking in. So when I saw the button video, like, less so, but when I got into the set of Secret, and when I was recording the Secret video, I was like, yeah, this is gonna take off. Like, it's just something that's never been done before, like, at that scale in Minecraft content, or at least not on this consistency. So I had pretty decent confidence it would do well. You ever seen someone IRL watching an Unstable video? No, but there is a funny instance where... Guys, did I miss anyone? There is a funny instance where me and Parrot were meeting up to go somewhere, and we were hopping on a bus, and we were gonna sit down and discuss Unstable Universe plot, or like YouTube plot, and we sat right next to 2 people who were wearing Quackity merch. And I don't know how big the overlap is between those 2 audiences, but it was so terrifying. We then moved to the back of the bus because Parrot's voice is pretty recognizable. We then moved to the back of the bus because we were scared that we just dox ourselves right then and there. So Parrot didn't even notice. Like, Parrot sat down right next to them, and then I just like pulled on his shoulder and now let's sit in the back. And he was like, why, bro? And I was just like, let's sit in the back. And then I told him. Like, obviously I'm sure those people are great, right? But like that'd be a crazy way to get spotted in public. Like, we're just discussing the next Unstable Universe lore, and they just, like, turn their heads, and they're like, what? So, if that happened, that would not be ideal. Next up, who's your dream creator to join Unstable Universe? I mean, I wish Dean would come back. Don't know who. I don't know. Actually, I will say, someone just joined Unstable Discord today, who I'm very excited to see, but I cannot spoil that. Are they going to rejoin the timeline to Parrot's videos when Boo spoke Flame Frag? Good question. I believe they will, but I cannot say for sure. Do you think any main characters would come back to the server canonically using an alt if they died? No, because the moment that Parrot does that, it pretty much removes all stakes from his videos, because someone can just buy an alt. So I don't think Parrot would ever do that. From Cheese, did Ash know you were the director? I think he might have, yes, but he pretty much couldn't say. Like, I had him at my will. Will you or any other YouTubers play my MC server? Probably not, just because if we play one person, this is the same thing with friend requests. Like, if we do it for one person, we then have to do it for everyone, and it's just unfair to only do it for select people, so probably not. And what is the mask in your Discord profile picture? Great question. I couldn't tell you. I made it when I was in 7th grade, and it lines up with my very first Minecraft skin, so that is why. Next up, from Zafran, what does the director think of Wembu and Spoke? He respects Wembu. He thinks he's very respecting of Wembu's power, but he knows that he can send Clown after him. He can send many people after him. He's not scared. Spoke, he's a little less intimidated by, but he also knows less about. Like, he knows he's more volatile, whereas Wembu's predictable but strong. So mildly wary of Spoke. Like, if it was Spoke's personality with Wembu's talent, that'd be a problem. Next, from Ari, why did we choose to coordinate thumbnails? I think we just really liked the marketing. Like, I was inspired by, if anyone knows Render, I was inspired by Render's thumbnail and this phenomenal video by Nexpo called Searching for the Five. And Parrot saw my idea and he was like, that's so gas. Like, if this pops for you, can I use it as well? And I was like, yeah, for sure. And so we coordinated it that way. Next up, what was your favorite? This is not unstable. Would Evil Fees get along with people like Clown, Parrot? I think so. I think Evil Fees could get along with anyone he respects, and it's mutual. So definitely. You've seen an Odyssey Duo Wifies playlist. I haven't, but I actually do want to go look for them because I always feel bad when people ask me for songs and I have no good ones. But I would love to hear what songs people associate. I think it's so cool when that kind of stuff gets linked to a character. Can you spoil what block Parrot will be standing on in the first frame of the next video? No, because I think it will be a spoiler for the video. So interpret that how you will. And yes, the shorter the video, the more frequent they will be uploaded, obviously. But I don't think they're going to drop super far. This is from Azure, aka Luxus. What would Wifies do to make Parrot learn to forgive him? I think he would just he would try, obviously, to explain his reasoning, but at some point, Parrot's just going to have to get used to it one way or the other. Next up, what is Egg off camera? Honestly, I did not talk to him that much, but from the time that I did off camera, the guy's super funny and, very fun to talk to. Just like Dean. Dean's slightly more energetic, but Egg is the GOAT. When you first heard the idea of you, what were your thoughts? I was a little skeptical of how people would perceive a scripted series, because I know that kind of thing always has a bit of a stereotype, but I am glad that it did very well. And I think the premise was great. It was just would people like it knowing it's not real was my concern. But clearly they do. Were you excited when it was finalized you were going to be a villain? I was half upset, half wasn't. So what am I even saying, bro? I'm losing my mind. I gotta get through these questions. I was half upset because, dang, I have to be a bad guy. But also, it was a really cool, Aura Farm role, so I suppose I liked it. How often do you talk to Parrot outside of Unstable? Probably every day. We just talk about stuff for every other day. If the director were to die, how would you want it to happen? No comment. I wouldn't want to die. Were you close with Parrot before Unstable Universe? Yes, but definitely got more so after the fact. What does Wifies think when Parrot was fighting Leo? I mean, he knew Parrot wouldn't die, so he was like not super concerned. He essentially, I think he knew it was gonna work out. What were the 2 lines you improv during the reveal scene? Low key, I could not tell you off the dome. Yeah, I don't think I could tell you. I think it's just small wording choices that I changed because they sounded kind of like skibadicious when I was actually delivering the line. So, interpret that how you will. Next. Was the compass burning purposeful? I think it was definitely purposeful, or if director's more like controlling. Wifi's more controlling attitude. What am I saying? What am I saying, bro? Wifi's redemption arc, no spoilers. Do you have any thoughts on the sub race and Parrot winning by 0.01? It's kind of crazy. But I suppose I'll have to beat him to 3 million, right? What can you do? Wifies, was it you who leaked the coordinates to the far lands? Perhaps. No comment. How far would Wifies go for Parrot? He'd pretty much do anything, and he wouldn't let Parrot run away or kill him because he knows what he has to do to keep Parrot safe. Was Wifies completely unaware that Parrot almost died to Leowook? No, he did know. He has a network of spies, just like Jumper. But he was not of any concern. Why do you think people are so attracted to evil fees from Torah? What a phenomenal question. You tell me, man. Thoughts on Kier and Dev? Not unstable, but I love them. They're great guys. Like, actually really funny and nice guys. Dear director, will you be making content on Unstable? I will be uploading bloopers. Will Wembu be involved with the lore? Like Parrot's lore? No spoilers. Will Refreeze regret killing... Refreeze doesn't want to kill anyone. He didn't want to kill Newfleet, but he had to kill Newfleet. How long will Unstable Universe go on for? I don't know, but there is no reason to believe it should end anytime soon. If Parfees wasn't platonic, would it be one-sided? Yes, I don't think Parrot's character would view Weefies romantically. So, dare I say, if it wasn't platonic, it would be a one-sided thing from Weefy's end. Big if there, guys, big if. Next up, do you think Weefy's ever thought of becoming undead or reaching out to Parrot? He knew that he couldn't. He really knew that he couldn't. Who is Weefy's least favorite bat member? Probably Jumper, because she knows the most. She's a bit too smart for his liking. Jingle Bells, do you have... This is not a Weefy. I'll answer this later. What was Weefy's reaction to Leowook's attempt on killing Parrot? He thought it was kind of, like, pathetic. Like, he didn't want Parrot to die. But he knew Parrot was going to survive. Alright, we're almost at 2 hours. I'm low-key getting fried. But I think we can finish this. Next question. How excited are you for the Parrot, me, and Durapshu stream? I am hyped. I think it'll be really funny. How often do you do recordings? Pretty much every other day. Weefy's in lore and out of lore is more of a cat person. Guys, preen was the Wordle word yesterday, and I didn't know what it meant. Fun fact. But I guess so. I guess it would help him if Parrot asked. What would Weefy's do if Parrot just jumped into the void? Probably get a heart attack. I don't think Parrot would do that, and I don't think Weefy's would expect it. Have a good dinner. Thank you. I'm almost gonna go. Do you like the comparison? I saw this fan art from Dakota. I saw this fan art of Weefy's drawn as Monica from DDLC, and it was gas. From Rafiki, our Foray clan, and It's Real Me gonna come back. I hope so, but we'll see. From Julia, I hope it's not Gulia, but I think it's Julia. What would Weefy's do if Parrot starts getting in danger out of spite? I think he knows Parrot wouldn't kill himself, so he's not too concerned, but he would be like worried if Parrot uses his own livelihood as leverage. What would I say to you Weefies? Like, get a grip, bro. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. It's a good question. It's a great question. But I cannot tell it. I don't know. I think I'd tell him hi. And I'd say the uncanny personality similarities between the two of us. Not the weird ones. The us both being named Wifies, Does Wifi see Leo as a threat? No. Is Wifies Wifies or is he Wifies? He is definitely Wifies. Let's not even ask that question. From Leah, do you enjoy being an unstable? Absolutely. The best part is easily talking to all the people on and off camera. It's like hanging out with friends. It's a super fun time. Which main character besides Parrot is the most fond of? Probably Flame, because he seems the easiest to control and the strongest. From Ari, favorite food? I like clementines and cheesecake. That's not unstable though. What's your favorite unstable universe character? I like myself, no self-glaze. But I think my favorite unstable universe character is... Let me think, so I'm not going to give a bogus answer. I think Radoons is very well written. Because he's like subservient to Ash, yet controlling. Like his personality and character are nuanced to make sense. I think Spoke is very interesting as a character. But I think Dean is my GOAT. And forever will be my GOAT. So, next up, pause guys, I just got a text. Dinner's ready, I'll be right up. Alright, so let me finish answering these questions. We'll be done in I think 5 minutes. So get hyped, or don't get hyped. Wifies, do you hate Leo Wook for doing what he tried to do to Parrot? No, I don't hate him, it's more so I just why bro? Why would you do that? It's just kind of pity that he had to go there because he was kind of broken after all that. When Wifies first became the director, who was the first person he chose? What do you mean? I don't know what that means. When Wifies first became the director, who was the first person he chose? I don't know. So, sorry. Sorry. From Prod Juicy, do you think Flame being a mainline cast poses a threat to Parrot after season 1? I don't think so. I don't think Flame has any reason to kill Parrot, right? Just in case. Wifies would have countermeasures for that, but I don't think he's a threat. What is Wifi's biggest regret? I think it's letting things go to poop in Void Civ, because if he hadn't put Parrot's life at risk there, then none of this director stuff would have had to happen. But he messed up, and now he can't forgive himself for it. He has to protect Parrot. Will Season 3 happen? Yes, I believe so. From Soup Nugget, I think they are all happening at the same time. Unless I'm out of the loop. From 3652, were you the director before you died? I don't think there was ever the director label definitely got attached when I did die, but Wifies always did have connections that he could manipulate even before he died. Good question. Egg tarts or farts? Will Booster ever appear in UU again? I hope so, but that guy's probably still in the chunk ban in the void. So, from Izzy, from a story or narrative standpoint, do you see the unstable world as characters living in it? It's people playing on a server who are very unhealthily attached to that server. Next from Goob, how does Wifies feel about Leo nearly killing Parrot? A little bit of pity for Leo. I think he just ended, it was unfortunate that it worked out that way. He knew Parrot wouldn't die, so he wasn't too stressed. But he's like, dang, bro, whatever happened to Leo Wook? Yeah, Jem, I saw that. That's why I feel more comfortable saying that, because Ash liked the tweet. I wish I had a good answer to the music one. That's why I love hearing people's suggestions, but I don't know. I like Christmas Kids, but that's most definitely a bit of a stretch to the platonic relationship that Parrot and Wifies have. But that song by Roar, right, is a good sentiment for what's going on. In terms of possessiveness, at least. Do other UU members check Twitter often for fan art? Parrot checks after a video. I know he does. I know he sees it. And I believe Wembu checks as well. Wifies, do you know that you said I'm a clone in the mind? People say this. I don't actually know that I ever said that I was a clone. Like, people say that that happened, but I don't recall it ever happening. But I guess so. Why don't you upload unstable videos on your channel? Fun fact from Pomodore Skibbity, phenomenal name. If you look at the top 15 channels my audience watches, none of the unstable guys are even in the top 15. So like the overlap between my audience and theirs is way smaller than you would think. It's just a very vocal minority. So it wouldn't make sense for me to upload unstable videos on my main channel just because people like the demand for it wouldn't be there, contrary to what, the certain sphere would lead you to believe. Next up, does Wifies hate Leo? Nope. Did you choose to be the director? Like, out of canon? In canon, yes. Out of canon, kind of. It was the most interesting twist. Did you create a plan that you were going to carry out? Parrot created it, and I gave input. Have you got a massive base? I do not, but you will see some cool stuff in the next video. What if Parrot ran away with Wifies? Then things would definitely be different. If Parrot had run away with Wifies would not have to fake his death. If Parrot let him be protected, then they could have survived. Remember, Wifies has goodwill from Ash, so they wouldn't have died. They were in no danger, but Parrot insisted on fighting. From Elliot, are you the Yowie master? And what made you compelled to join Unstable Universe? I've met a lot of people through Unstable Universe, but Parrot said it's like when Parrot pitched the role to me, it just sounded very cool. So I was like, why not, right? Is Clown coming to Unstable? I hope so. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. From B, if Wifies were attached to someone other than Parrot, who would it be? Definitely Ken and Watto, the people that gave him freedom. Did Parrot ever think that Wifies would turn out this way? From Julia. No, definitely not. From Moz, we know Leo poses the biggest threat to Parrot, but what about Jumper? I don't think Jumper poses too much of a threat, but allied with the right person, Jumper's info is lethal. Will It's Real Me ever return? I don't think so, but I cannot say with certainty. By the way, how is XI pronounced? Is it Z? Does Wifies regret becoming the director? Yes or no? There's no regret. He knows, he has to do it. Not a question, but have a nice dinner. Thank you. And final question of the day. And then I gotta go eat dinner and be in a recording soon. So we're about to hit 2 hours. Good timing. It's Pride Month, Wifies. You know what that means. Hell yeah, we do. Shout out Pride Month. Get excited, everyone. More casual question. What made you guys decide to make Dean part of the main squad? So, I will say this now because obviously, I think I've said this before and it's a nice and sad piece of knowledge. Dean the B9 was only ever introduced to be killed. The only reason Dean was ever added was that Parrot could build someone up for the fans and then kill them to give a big impact on the audience. So Dean was always meant to be a beloved character that then dies for story. So that's why Dean was added to Unstable. Insane writing, I know. I have not been on Tumblr, but Watto's on Tumblr a lot, and they send a lot of great posts. So I've seen a lot of the really cool stuff people put on there by virtue of Watto. So shout out Watto. But I think, dude, shout out to the 200. I thought we'd down to 50 people. Shout out to the 241 people who stayed. We had 300 for an hour. So thank you. This will be posted on my second channel. All 2 hours of it will be posted uncut. So good luck watching it with footage of me playing Hypixel. It'll be posted uncut, unlisted for you guys to watch if you ever want to watch again, get back to anything. Shout out to the mods for keeping everything running and controlling the stage chat and the Ask Wifies chat. I would have been absolutely screwed without the staff here. Thank you all you for coming for the questions. Any question that wasn't unstable related, I will go back and answer myself, like within messages. So if you were skipped for that reason, don't worry, I will answer it. But yeah, we'll be back to answering as normal about 2 days. Have a great rest of your day and or night. I'm going to eat dinner and then record with the guy himself. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you for stopping by. Goodbye. Adios. Guys, I'm going to leave now. There's going to be a lot of... You guys better start trickling out because I'm going to leave and it's going to be a whole lot more boring when I leave.